What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Carly in Wisconsin here to talk some Packers and extend this Victory Monday as it continues to roll on here. We're going to stretch this out as long as we possibly can. But before we get into all the information we learned, Tim, how was the day, bub? What you been into today, man? I heard it's cold and rainy up there. Is that right?
Rainy and cold, man. Rainy and cold around the Green Bay area. Winter's coming slowly but surely. But yeah, I was going to rake some leaves today, but Mother Nature bailed me out, so I didn't have to do it. Getting ready for hunting season, though, Clay. It's almost here.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. Carly, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I am so excited to talk about this game. It was crazy. It was such a crazy game, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're good. We're glad to have you for sure. Let's go to the chat real quick. Colmar in the chat said, I was a Justin Fields guy. Let me fix that real quick. I was a Justin Fields guy because I'm an Ohio State guy, and the Bears turned me into a Packers fan. F Chicago. Horrible team, horrible organization, horrible coaching. Go Pack, go! I'll never forgive them. So obviously, we got someone in here who's upset about Chicago ruining Justin Fields. That's kind of their MO, man. They ruin
the Bears still suck.
That will be on loop all night long. Eric Sutherland says Kenny Clark stinks. Great guy, but he stinks. That's all. All right. So there's Eric chiming in with his take on Kenny Clark. Jarrell Lee says there's a lot of talk about how good the Bears offense was against us. We are one of the pillars in the NFC, and teams have a different focus against good or bad teams. Give us everything they got. It's a very good point, Jarrell, and you got to kind of throw some of the statistics out the window when you play these division rivals, especially one who doesn't have much to play for other than, hey, we want to beat the Green Bay Packers. And the other thing too, man, some people are acting like this defense gave up 30 points or something. Yeah. They give up 19 points. 19. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's some unreasonable expectations to a certain extent. But, did I expect them to give up, less than 19? Probably. But you never know, man, any given Sunday. And again, new OC, right, Tim? We talked about it all week. They brung in they elevated one of the guys on staff who was with the Carolina Panthers last year, and he called a different game. There was a lot of quarterback draws. Kenny talked about that in his presser. You never know when you get a new OC like that, right?
Yeah, we kind of had a feeling that might have been kind of a wild card, right? With them making the change, us coming out of the bye, going on the road, Bears are in shambles as usual, and they make a coaching change, and you got a new play caller out there. I kind of saw it coming a little bit. I'm not patting myself on the back, but we talked about them having to prep for unscouted looks. We talked about that in the pregame days leading up to the pregame show and the game. So, we saw that, and I think it is. Fans are probably frustrated that we gave up 19 to a team that doesn't have the best track record on offense this year. And so I guess, a little bit of frustration boiling over, but hey, at the end of the day, we gritted it out, found a way to win that ball game, and we did it with a defensive play. So yeah. I'll take it.
Carly, what was
Tim,
your
do you think?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I was wondering, Tim, if you thought that it was just the new OC bump for this game, or if they're really kind of changing things to get Caleb Williams to be able to perform better. Because when he started out, everyone was so excited at the beginning of the season, everyone being the Bears fans, right? Right. Always hopeful. They got DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen. They got all these weapons for Caleb Williams, and then it seems like they were almost like not using him to his strengths, like trying to force him to be this pocket passer, which it wasn't working. And so now they have this new OC, and there's always a little bit of a bump. Do you think this is going to continue where they're going to play better, or you think this is just a little tiny hiccup and they're going to go back to their true nature?
Well, I think they'll always suck, of course, but no, I think there's some truth to what you're saying. Like Clayton and I talked about it too. You can't reinvent your whole offensive scheme overnight, but what you can do with a different play caller is call different plays, and that's what they did. And you're right, they had Caleb, running north and south instead of east and west like he had been doing in the previous weeks, and it kind of chewed us up there for a little bit. So I do think that for them, I would anticipate that would continue. They try to get the best out of their rookie quarterback who, we've talked about, before having, borderline elite arm talent when it comes down to it. But they got to put him in a position to capitalize. And they tried, and they almost got us yesterday. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're going to like come back and, like magically run away with the division or something, or, leapfrog us down the stretch. But I do think that maybe a change was needed. And clearly their fan base agreed. Fan base probably still wants some changes there, including their head coach. So we'll see how things go. But, it just shows how important coaching is in the NFL too. We always talk about players got to make plays, but, if you're in a position to fail all the time, it's kind of tough to do that. So
definitely. And I've got chalk talk ready. We've got 15 plays. 2 of the 15 plays we're going to show are the scrambles by Caleb Williams. Both of them on third down. If I remember correctly, both of them man coverage calls. So you want to know why he scrambled and was effective at it. Yeah, there's literally that one play, Quay's got his back chasing his guy in man coverage, right? Back turn to the ball, and Caleb's running right behind him up the sideline. And there's nothing on Quay on that play. That's man coverage, So when you're playing zone against a mobile quarterback, your eyes are always on the quarterback, and you're kind of playing you're watching the quarterback while you're playing your target, playing through your target to the quarterback, if you will. And obviously the man coverage got them burnt several times there yesterday. We'll hit on all that tomorrow. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a good chalk talk for sure. Let's see here else in the chat here. 2-0 for this says, from lots of reactions, it seems that this type of loss has been more demoralizing to the Bears fans than if it had been a blowout. It's so true. And I'll tell you another byproduct too is momentum it can create for a team like the Packers. Because once again, we've seen them pull out wins about 5 different ways this year, where it's like, man, they should have lost that ball game. I mean, we lost the turnover differential and the middle 8. We lost turnover differential 1-0. We lost the middle 8 7-0. We did get the edge in explosive plays 8-7, but the 2 more important ones, man, and you still come out and win the ball game. It's just absolutely wild.
I agree with that. I think it is. I mean, I think if we would have boat raced them, they would have just shook their heads and left in the third quarter, and it would have been the same old same, right? Yeah. Losing that way, basically feeling like you won the battle but lost the war. It's demoralizing.
No, Aaron Rodgers with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, "Evening, gang. Bags are packed for this trip to Green Bay." I'm sure he's talking about with the 49ers game coming up next week. So. It's going to be awesome, dude. Glad and excited for you to be able to come up and watch the game. I think it'll be a good game, guys. I really do. Now, they're banged up. Kittle's got a hammy. Christian McCaffrey, they're still saying he isn't completely right. They've got, their own issues, but, man, you can never rule out the 49ers coming ready to prepared to play, because they always play the Packers good, right? And I think it could go down as the game of the year. I really do.
Great game for your first trip to Lambeau, man. You're gonna get a hell of a battle out there for sure. I would anticipate another close game, just like we saw yesterday.
It's pretty cool too, man. Since it's your first game, I posted this on Twitter earlier. I don't know if you can see this, but that glass there. So the first time I went to Green Bay, the restaurant, the bar in the top of Lambeau Field was called Curly's Pub. It's since been changed to 1919 Kitchen and Tap. And when it was Curly's Pub, they had a lot of interactive areas, like where you could kick field goals and stuff and throw balls at targets, things like that. And I was just combing around on eBay the other night and stumbled onto a Curly's Pub mug, so I had to grab it. But
nice.
That was my memory. Back in 2003 was the first time I ever went to Lambeau, Aaron. So good luck with the trip and everything, man. Like I said, take your time. Don't rush through anything, man. Enjoy it. Soak it all up. It's gonna be awesome.
Give yourself time to get some cheese curds,
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them, though.
1919 Kitchen and Tap. Some of the best cheese curds I've ever ate in my whole life, man.
Yes, sir.
Beer cheese soup is phenomenal. The elk stroganoff. Get you a big old bowl of that elk stroganoff and just be ready for bed. I'm telling you, it'll put you right to sleep. So probably about 17,000 calories in that bowl. M. Smitty in the chat. Evening PTA Posse. I'm back, baby doll, and ready to enjoy some more Victory Monday for the Pack. Appreciate you swinging through, Smitty. We got Greg Rice. Chicago pizza is awesome. Fight me. Hey, amen. I don't know how you guys feel about Chicago-style pizza, but I love it. We had a place here called Little Chicago Pizza for the longest time. And, man, it was like $70 for a pie, but that thing weighed 13 pounds. It was unbelievable. Are you a big Chicago-style pizza guy, Tim, or no?
No, not really. I don't do See, it depends because that's up for debate, right? Because
Imagine that the slim
popular opinion is that deep dish is the Chicago style, right?
Right.
But around these parts, I'm from Milwaukee, and there's always been a great debate about thin crust and who created the tavern style pizza. There are bars in Milwaukee that swear that they invented it, and there are bars in Chicago that swear that they invented it. There are actually diehards in Chicago that'll tell you that thin crust tavern style pizza is the real Chicago style pizza. So if we're going that way all day, I love a good thin crust. I can't do the big, thick, doughy deep dish. It's just maybe I'm just too skinny. I can't. My body can't take it.
Troutman, you got to get a couple extra chins like me to handle that thing. Carly, what do you think? You like Chicago style or not?
I like it all. I like pizza. I like pizza a lot.
I could eat pizza every night, man.
No doubt.
Michael Scott in the chat. Did you see Michael Scott in the chat there?
I did not. What do you
say? All about that Sbarro's, man.
I'm going to get me a New York slice. Love it. M. Smitty in the chat also says, good teams find a way to win, even if it's ugly, never going to apologize for a win. Amen. It's exactly what LaFleur told the team. 2-0 for this says, we lost almost every important metric and still came out on top. It's what we were just talking about with the middle eight and the turnover differential. It's just, like I said, it's got to be demoralizing for the Bears fans. Greg Rice, I was most frustrated by the DBs and not getting off the field on third down, especially 3rd and 19. It gave me Eagles flashbacks. Yeah.
Yes.
It was a tough look. It was. But at the same time, if Enigbare doesn't lose his mind temporarily and try to jump up like Spider-Man in the air and land on Caleb Williams, he probably just sacks him, and that's the end of the play, right? So probably kills the entire drive too. But
Clayton, you got to read what Eric Sutherland said just a minute ago.
No, we got to be careful.
Also, on the pizza, it's on the it's on the pizza thing.
Gotcha. Is it the
812?
Okay, got it. Eric Sutherland, I wouldn't put nothing with the word Chicago in it anywhere near my mouth. There you go. Hey, I can respect that. I can respect it. John in the chat, only one drop, 3 penalties. 2 was BS called. Offense seemed to clean it up on the bye. They really did. And you also got to take into consideration that the officiating crew, I think we uncovered they were the 3rd or 4th crew in the National Football League that's thrown the least amount of flags, right? They were like 3rd or 4th from the bottom. So that plays a little bit of a factor too. If Ron Tolbert's out there, Timmy, it's you better hold on for dear life, right?
Good old Ronnie boy, man. When he's not shooting new episodes of Reno 911, he's out there doing his best referee impression for sure.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers in the chat says, I'm eating at 1919 this Saturday evening because of your recommendations. You're going to love it, man. I'm telling you.
Nice.
They got great burgers. They got great everything, man. It's just a really cool place. You're overlooking the Don Hudson Center. You sit at the bar. You got multiple TVs, so you can watch college football Saturday night. That'd be absolutely awesome. We went in there. We were in town for a Monday night football game the last time we were there. I think it was Packers-Rams Monday night football. So we went in there on Sunday evening and watched Sunday night football.
Yep.
And it was just absolutely awesome, man.
See, if he times it right, you can go in the 1919 and load up and on your carbs, get a full belly, and then walk straight out the door and just take you a Lambeau Field tour or hit the Hall of Fame and just walk all of that off. You'll be good to go. Definitely.
Or like me, you get a couple daddy sodas and you stagger back across the street and go back to the Lodge Kohler and take a nap. You know what I mean? That's what happens when you get old, though. So we had this shot right here. I thought this was really cool. I think it was Jacob Morley tweeted it out. God bless whoever let the camera continue to run for the celebration. I don't remember the celebration being this long on the All-22 on NFL Pro, so maybe he got a different clip. But this is really cool as you're going to see the kick here. No sound. It's blocked. Look at the sideline.
How awesome. That was so awesome. Oh, that was so great.
Look like a bunch of kids. Now, I'm going to point in a specific direction here. I'm going to pause it as the kick's blocked. Now, watch this. Look up here. I'm pretty sure that's Matt LaFleur in the white. And I think this is Rich Bisaccia. Watch him shove Rich Bisaccia in the chest. Look how he went looking for Rich Bisaccia. Look at this. See him about to knock him down? Pretty sure that was Rich. It looks like Rich. I can't tell. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know, but yeah.
You hear the latest wrinkle in this, right? Eberflus is sending tape to the league about somebody being lined up over the center. I mean, I don't know how many times I've watched this already, but nobody's lined up over the center or over the long snapper.
And then they said, well, you can't make contact with the center. And it's like, is that in the rules or not? Well, you can't push anybody. It's like, okay, you guys are going to find 4 different reasons to try to justify or de-justify, I guess you
Look
could
at
say.
the knock 75 over. Watch it. Like, look at it again. Just watch it. Number 75 of the Bears when they do it again. It's like amazing. They just gave it their all. It is I love watching this. Like, look at him just flying on his butt.
Yeah.
And jump over him. Oh,
what I love too is LVN was the one who kind of got the push on Carl Brooks. He's the last one to realize that it's blocked because he's down there kind of doing the dirty work. You'll see him loop around right here, see him shoving. He's right here in the back. Now, watch him at the end. Everybody's already celebrating. He's like, what happened, guys? Oh, we blocked it. All right. Love to see it. So that was a cool shot there. And then we've also got a shot here that came from it was at CHGO Bears _ Bears tweeted this out. I want to give them a shout out, and they filmed it from the stands at the bottom. There may be some language, so earmuff it if you got kids in the room, but I definitely want to hear the crowd noise on this. Let's hear the reaction from the stands here.
The Bears still suck.
Wait till this happens.
Oh, there it was. My bad. Okay, that's it. That's how we're gonna show. Sorry for the F-bomb there. Again, earmuff it if you got kids in the room. Too late. Listen. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. All right?
I'm not sorry at all. I'm never apologizing for a victory. We'll take it.
Again, we're covered on YouTube, but I just hate that to get snuck in on the podcast. So hopefully we warned well enough. This was cool. Fox Sports NFL tweeted out the Packers' 11-game winning streak versus the Bears is the longest win streak by either team in the 104-year history of the rivalry. So they've been playing this matchup for 104 years, and this is the first time either team had an 11-game winning streak. They have hit an all-time low, man. If you guys were on Twitter today, it was bad, was it not, Tim? I mean, these
full meltdown. Wait till they melt down. We hand them the 12th in a row at the end of the season. Boy, look out for that.
And you know the Packers are going to be even more prepared for that game too. They're not going to let this thing in close, and it's going to be at Lambeau. Last game of the year. It's going to be cold. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
You could really see two totally different teams too by that point of the season. You know, a full season really grinds you and molds you into who you're going to be making that playoff push. And you know, I fully expect the Packers to be performing a lot better than they did yesterday for sure in the next matchup.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Tom Brady has been doing this all year. It's Tom Brady's LFG player of the game. You guys use your imagination as to what LFG means. So
I just got it. I was like, what's that stand for? Who's sponsoring that? Oh, okay, got it.
Listen to some of these names that's won this award, all right? Week 1, Micah Parsons. Pretty good at the old football, right? Week 2, Alvin Kamara. Week 3, Derrick Henry. Week 4, Baker Mayfield. Week 5, Kyler Murray. Week 6, Penei Sewell. Week 7, Joe Tooney. Week 8, Josh Allen for Buffalo. Week 9, Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's arguably the best receiver in the league this year for the Lions, right? Week 10, Brock Purdy. And then week 11 was our very own Christian Watson. Got Tom Brady's LFG player of the game. Now, I put a poll question out tonight saying who was your PTA offensive player of the game for week 11 versus the Bears, all right? And make sure everybody go in there and vote right now. Christian Watson's leading the way. He's running away with it. 82%. Josh Jacobs, 11%. Jordan Love, 8%. So that's how that sits right now. I don't think Scoot's going to lose this one, to be honest with you. He'll probably be our offensive player of the game as well. Tomorrow, we're going to put another poll question up when we go live for PTA Live tomorrow night during Chalk Talk, and we're going to ask the same question, but for defensive player of the week, and we'll go ahead and create a graphic and all that stuff, continue that going on as we move through the year. But this is pretty cool here, Carly, when you see Christian Watson finally getting the respect he deserves, because he's been quiet this year, and you haven't heard us rag on him. Like, we're watching the tape and going, he's doing exactly what he's being asked to do. He's taking coverage with him. He's a hell of a blocker at the wide receiver position. We've seen him take 3 defenders with him, rub one, take 2 more with him on the Tucker Kraft touchdown earlier in the year that went for like 66 yards. But pretty cool seeing Scoot out here, right?
I'm so happy for him just to have kind of have his moment to shine. He's been such an amazing, like just a team player, and from all accounts, like everybody just loves him and his locker room presence and everything. But it's also good for a guy who obviously is, I mean, he is just a star to be able to get that moment just to shine and really show what he's made of and celebrate that and have everybody celebrating with him. Like it's just great. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
Scoot is the man. I got to play this.
No block, no rock.
Because that's what it is, and Matt LaFleur was true to his word too, because we saw Scoot, targeted in this ball game, and they made it a point of emphasis to get him the ball, and deservingly so. He's been blocking all year and doing the dirty work, doing everything he's been asked, and the thing I liked the most after his performance was being asked about it, and he immediately said, I'm just here to do whatever the team needs me to do first, and he immediately just deflects any of that individual accolades or praise or stats or anything. And it's good to see him up here on Tommy Boy's list here. Scoot definitely deserves it, man, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. It's just awesome. Again, next week we're going to be playing the 49ers, so we'll have a shot at another Packer getting that award potentially. So hopefully we can pull out a dub there against San Francisco. Listen, guys, the season's shaping up here. Really, really quick. When you look at our schedule, obviously you get the win there against the Bears. The remaining schedule is 49ers at home. Then it's the Thursday night, Thanksgiving night against the Dolphins, who, listen, you cannot overlook the Dolphins. They're one of the better teams in the AFC. They are playing so stout right now. It's not even funny. Let's see. Then you got at the Lions, at the Seahawks, Saints at home, at the Vikings, Bears at home. So when you look at that, now let's look at it worst case scenario here, okay? You could lose to the Niners. You could lose to any of these teams, don't get me wrong. But like realistic losses, like, hey, man, this is going to be a tough matchup. 49ers would be a tough one. Dolphins would be a tough one. The Lions would be a tough one. I think the Vikings will be a tough one. So you're looking at 4 potential losses there. Again, you can lose any of these games, but 4 that look like, man, you better be on your A game, or that's going to be really, really tough to come away with a win there. So if that was the case and you end up losing 4 more games, right, you're going to win. Let's see here. It'd be what, 1, 2, 3 more games. So you're going to go 3-4 the rest of the season. Just, theoretically speaking, what would that make our record here, guys? 3-4 on top of the 7-3 be what, 10-7? Is that right?
Yeah. Then you know what we'd be saying? We'd be saying
playoffs.
It's going to be really hard to get into the playoffs with 10 wins. Like when you look at the standings in the NFC right now, you got the Detroit Lions 9-1, the Eagles 8-2, the Cardinals at 6-4, the Falcons at 6-5, the Vikings at 8-2, the Packers at 7-3, and the Washington Commanders at 7-4. Those are your playoff teams currently. Now, the good thing is we got some help yesterday. Okay, so the Rams are 5-5, Seattle's 5-5, San Francisco's 5-5. So you've got a 2-game lead right now in that final wild card spot, bare bones minimum, if you were to drop a few, right? So if you go out and beat the Niners, man, that's going to knock one of those 3 teams that are trying to get to your final spot in the wild card. Worst case scenario, you control your own destiny is what it comes down to, guys. Like Seattle, you're going to play. San Francisco, you're going to play. Emilio, that's all you can ask for this late in the year, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and the fact that we, like you said, got some help from San Fran or from the Seahawks against San Fran, huge. And we really got to turn it up. We got that first win against the divisional 1-2 there. And ideally, I don't want to split, going 2-2 out of there, ending what we'd be, 2 or 3-4, whatever. So, I mean, or 3-6, 5, I don't want that. So like, let's win out the rest of, the divisional games, take San Fran, and then we can kind of go from there. Seahawks, Dolphins, lose to the AFC if possible.
Yeah. And again, all these games are going to be tough. I don't care who you're playing here. But
yeah,
you also got a legitimate shot. Like if you win the games you're supposed to and you split those other 4, then you know what I mean, you come out with 12 wins like we're talking about. And that's really kind of the projection, or it's been the projection here lately, in my opinion. So we'll see how it shakes out. Now, when you look at the playoff picture and how it currently sits, in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs are the 1 seed. The Bills are the 2 seed. Steelers are the 3. Texans are the 4. The Chargers are the 5th. Ravens are the 6th. and the Denver Broncos are the 7th. When you move over to the NFC, the number 1 seed is the Detroit Lions. The 2 is the Philadelphia Eagles. 3, Arizona Cardinals. 4 is the Falcons. The 5 seed is the Vikings. 6 are the Green Bay Packers. And the 7 seed is the Washington Commanders. So if the playoffs were to start today, the Detroit Lions would get a first-round bye. The matchups would be Washington at Philly, Green Bay at Arizona, Minnesota at Atlanta is what the playoffs would currently look like. Now, I want to point this out, too. Like with the NFC, we're sitting at 7-3, right? And there's a lot of Packer fans that are disappointed. I don't understand that. Like, if you told me before the season you're going to be sitting in this spot 7-3, I'd say that's about right, man. That's about that's a pretty darn good spot to be in. When you look at the AFC, guys, we have a better winning percentage than the Baltimore Ravens. You understand the Baltimore Ravens are a strong team. Like, they are stout. The Chargers are on a run right now, man. They're sitting at 7-3 with our same record, right? So, and again, the teams that beat us, those 3 losses we got, are the Eagles, the Lions, and the Vikings, all ahead of us in the standings here, right? It's not like you've lost to any bad teams. You may have played down to a few teams, but Tim, you really haven't lost a game that you know what I mean? Like you don't want to lose any games, but when you look at the teams we've lost to, it's like they're respectable losses. I feel like, and with the Vikings, you're getting your ass kicked, and then you come out in the second half and just battle back and lose by less than, what was it, like 3 points, 2 points, whatever it was, you end up losing
2 points, by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think having a divisional loss, though, I think maybe emotionally for people, maybe why they're kind of is because we had, like, those are the teams you really want to win against. And so to lose against those, especially with the rivalries that are there, I mean, I can see why some people feel down, but I think the record 7-3, yeah, it's I'm happy about it.
I am too.
I agree. And I think it's set up right now where, this momentum shift that we caught at the end of this game yesterday, hopefully is going to carry us home. We got a 2-game homestand and 2 games that we should win. We need to win these 2 games. That is going to put us in a better position going into Detroit to try and get that important divisional win that we want. And I'm personally tired of seeing the Packers lose at Lambeau Field. I mean, it's time. Right. We need to get some dubs here and protect 1265 for sure. I think we can beat the Niners, and I think we can beat the Dolphins. We just got to play a hell of a lot better than we did yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. So we got some information coming out of the game here about Jair Alexander. Rob Domofsky tweeted out, and this came from Matt LaFleur at the presser. LaFleur said Jair Alexander, quote, didn't feel like he could play, so we pulled him. After Alexander tried to give it a go with his knee injury, he was going to be on a limited rep count either way, but never got through the first half. So there's a multitude of ways you can look at this. Some people see this and go, I can't believe he pulled himself out of the game. That's soft. Other people look at it like, hey, it'd be selfish to try to play while you're hurt and hurt your team because you got an ego problem. So I can understand both sides of the argument, really, but it's nice to just get a little more information on how that came about with Jair. There was going to be a limited rep count anyway, Emilio. How do you feel about this, man? I don't think there's any harm here. Do you? Emilio stepped away as soon as I said, you're muted. I'm sorry, bud.
Yep, that's my bad. The problem is that, when he's got a knee injury like that and, you're coming back, you're not 100% sure. I mean, we kind of saw it with Jordan Love. We brought him back and had the issue there. But honestly, the fact is like Jair is the man, and we need him out there. So him trying to get past the injury, is the problem. But also when you're going game speed, it's a lot different than trying to push it in practice. So
yeah,
things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
What he was telling him from the sideline, I mean, at least we had him there to chirp him. At least keep the earpiece in, know what the play call is, and chirp him from the sideline.
There you go. Tim, what do you think? You got a problem with this, Jair pulling himself out there, man, out of the game?
No, I mean, like I said, I thought that he was trying to, get himself on the field pregame. He tried to go before the bye week, and it wasn't happening. He tried, and it looked like walkthrough pregame against the Bears. It was even kind of questionable there. We didn't really know till the last minute, but I don't have a problem with it because with a knee, it's funny. And you're a corner, so you're constantly changing directions. You're constantly planning, cutting, moving. I mean, you don't want to screw things up further for yourself down the stretch because regardless of how you feel about his play this year, that's a dude you want on the football field when the playoffs start, period, point blank. When the games really get really real and it's win or go home, you want your leaders and you want your top dogs out there. So I don't have a problem with him not finishing 10 snaps. It's not like he went out there for 1 or 2 snaps and then quit on us. He tried to make a go of it. So I'm cool with it.
And knee injuries are not fun, man. They really aren't. Like you don't want to plant wrong. You don't want to spin wrong. Your foot stays in the ground longer than you thought it was going to. Soldier Field's different than Lambeau and Ray Nitschke and all that. So, I mean, it's not something you want to mess with.
Yeah. And, when you hear about knee injuries and unless you've actually had one, I've been fortunate. I haven't had a major knee injury. However, I did tweak one time, and it literally felt like right in between my kneecap, like in the joint, someone was holding a blowtorch to it.
Yeah.
I was just like, what is that? I thought for sure I tore something, but luckily I didn't. And I can only imagine when you actually snap something like that or sprain it, because really a sprain, guys, it's a partial tear, right? You may know about that more than anybody, Carly. Is it a partial tear? Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, yes, some of the fibers that contribute to the stability of the joint are torn, not all the way through, but just partially. And they can have lots of different grades. But yeah, it's like, I mean, there's no way to not use it.
Yeah. No, and that's it. I mean, that's the issue.
All the knee braces and tape in the world isn't going to change that either.
No. Because you can still twist. Like all the knee brace does is go backward and forwards. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to help you from not rotating, but it's not perfect. I wore mine for way too long. The first time after surgery, and I stood up and got all that blood rush from my foot. Nope. Take me out, man. That was the worst pain I think I've ever felt.
Yeah. So with that blood rush, is it kind of like when you
My knee.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Is it kind of like when your leg falls asleep? Is it kind of one of those things?
Yeah, like that times like 1,000. It feels like because I was laying down, and then the medicine starts wearing off a little bit. First time you got to get up and go pee. Nope, I took a desk chair, cut the back off of it exactly, and I said I am rolling over to that bed for the first couple days here. This is not happening.
Yeah, Mandy. The reason I mentioned that, Mandy, the other day, she was sitting on the couch and had her one leg underneath her, was doing something on her phone, and she stood up and her leg was asleep, and she screwed up and told me that. So I went over and gave her a cow bite on the calf. Bro, she was screaming. It was hilarious, man. So she'd have done it to me, I'd have been mad for 2 days. But kind of like the wet willy that you got from Jordan, Amelia. Boy, you were mad.
No, don't even play that game.
That story was hilarious.
Don't even play that game, man.
We were at a rooftop bar in downtown Nashville, overlooking Nissan Stadium, beautiful setting, and Amelia telling us the story about the first time he got mad at Jordan. She gave him a wet willy. He said, "Man, he was mad. You were like 3 days, wasn't it?"
Oh yeah, that is where I draw the line right there. I mean, wet willy is I just feel like it's the utmost disrespect for you to just go ahead and get that and get close enough to somebody to just slam them with it.
I love it. All right, other news. Tom Silverstein tweeted this out. The Packers have activated running back Marshawn Lloyd off injured reserve, returning him to the 53-man roster and making him eligible to play Sunday against the Niners. Lloyd is recovering from appendicitis. Coach Matt LaFleur did not indicate whether he thought he would play this week. Now, he quote tweeted that, he being Tom, and said, putting Lloyd on the roster will allow the Packers to transfer him to the non-football injury list. He will stay there and not count against the roster until he is recovered from his appendectomy. Did I say that right? I think I did. No timeline has been given on his return. So the first tweet Tom put out, I went, yes. The second tweet, I went, okay, it's going to be a little bit. So am I reading this correctly here, Tim? You think it's going to be a little bit before we see Lloyd, at least a couple weeks, maybe?
I would think so. And, don't forget, appendicitis is one thing that takes time to recover from that surgery before you're feeling like yourself again. But we also have the, was it hip or hamstring issue that, put him to IR in the first place. So, we'll see. I know he practiced a little bit before the setback, so I wouldn't anticipate seeing him against the Niners. I would think the earliest we'd probably see him on the field would be against Miami on Thanksgiving. So we'll see how it goes, though, because, if we have him back in the fold, holy cow, that running back room just gets even stronger, Yeah,
definitely. Let's see. We got a super chat here. Jason Y, appreciate you, buddy. He says, the offense is fine. We scored touchdowns on 3 out of our only 6 possessions. We just need to stop the run and stop turning it over. Amen. That's it. And again, we shut their run down fairly well. It was those third down scrambles that extended the drive and really hurt them, right? Mm-hmm. And again, that was to me, a direct reflection or a byproduct of running that man coverage. Maybe stay away from man coverage on third downs, unless you're going to heat the quarterback up. In those situations, they really didn't. It was what's crazy is he ran, if I remember correctly, too, it was a cover one drop or a cover one will spy. So it was like, it's kind of like a cover one drop where the linebacker drops in that mid hook zone, but he didn't drop very deep. So you could tell it was like a design spy, right? So it just so happens that Edgerrin Cooper took a bad angle, misjudged Caleb Williams' athleticism. And listen, you got to acknowledge it. Caleb Williams, he outran some fast defenders yesterday. So he's got some wheels on him. He didn't run the combine, the 40 at the combine or anything like that. And it's obvious he's got the speed to make it happen. But I completely agree with Jason here, man. 3 out of 6 possessions. You only had 6 possessions. That sucks, right?
That's what Matt was talking about in his presser. He was like, man, it was just a weird game in the fact of like not having a bunch of possessions, not knowing if we need to or obviously we need to score, but like not knowing if this can be the last time you touch the ball kind of thing. And when you're going to get it again. So that's it. Just division rivals are weird games, man. They really are.
Yeah.
But some of those, like those possessions that we turned it over in the red zone, those were heartbreaking. Like those, I feel like those are the things like those cannot happen. We got to get a way to not go backward, first of all, when we're in the red zone and actually get in the end zone. And then if you have to take a field goal, take a field goal. They had our number on those, I feel like, and that was hard to watch.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you for the super chat, Jason. Appreciate you. 2-0 for this. Chris Brooks has been impressive. Our running back depth is underrated. I'm glad you mentioned it because check this clip out here. We're going to show it just a couple of times and then we'll move on from it. We don't want to get hit with any kind of strike, but this is our boy Chris Brooks, right? Look at this.
Here's the guy.
Look at that poor bastard getting drugged. Oh my God. This looks like the local rodeo here in town, don't it, Amelia?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Hanging on by a thread.
Yeah. I said quick recap of the last 30 years of Packers versus Bears rivalry right here. Just dragging
You really thought that was going to stop our man Brooks? Like, what was that, like a 1/4-inch cotton thread?
Yeah. I love how he held on to it. And as the video went on, I don't have the entire clip, it snaps, right? And he kind of looks at it like, crap. Like we ran out of thread.
Mm-hmm.
And AFAM says cow bite, ? Am I the only person that's ever called it that, where you grab the old calf muscle? I guess so.
You just pinch it, you're saying?
No, bro, listen, you don't just pinch it. You got to – I got big hands, so I got pretty – like, you got to get all the way around that calf muscle, and you try to pinch it off the bone, bro. Like, you're –
I got you.
Yeah.
That's abuse. You're admitting to domestic abuse right here.
It may or may not be, but if she don't call, it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that works. Terrible. It is terrible, Chuck. I agree. So yeah, that's a cow bite. Some people call it a calf bite, but in Kentucky we call it a cow bite because a calf bite, it's just a little calf bite.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go for the whole thing, man.
Right.
The whole kit and caboodle. You know what I'm saying? So let's see here. We had Matt LaFleur. Rob Domofsky tweeted out. Matt LaFleur said he was happy with Jordan Love's play and decision making. Even the INT was the right read yesterday. Quote: he was moving around like we're accustomed to seeing him. Guys, that's exactly what I seen. Let's go around the horn with that. He looks fully healthy. Listen, that was a physical mistake, right? He airmailed the ball. It was a perfect decision. I think he was 100% perfect with the exception, I'm talking about mentally, with the exception of probably should have checked it down to Tucker Kraft instead of taking the shot to Scoot. But Scoot brung it in. It's hard to argue with the results, right? So I think Jordan's good to go, man. I do.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Go ahead, Carly.
Yeah, it was really good to see him moving around before at the last half of the Lions game. I was concerned. I didn't think he was really moving as well as he should. And it's like, should he really be out there? But then obviously the trainers and all the athletic staff have really worked with him over the bye week and got that, that rest. And yeah, it was really good to see him moving around like we're used to seeing him, like we want him to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my first thought when he ran to the pylon, laying it all on the line. I'm like, yeah, I think the knee's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And the early indicators were, great shot right there. And, the early indicators too is, I even said to my wife, I said, let's see how much under center Jordan Love plays today. And we saw it early and often on that first drive, and we marched right down the field and put 7 on the board on him. And you're feeling good about J Money right now. And I agree, Clayton, that that throw to Tucker Kraft was just it was out on time. It was the right read. It just sailed on him, and you want to throw high to your big targets like that. Tuck Norris is a dude that goes up and gets that ball 9 out of 10 times. It just sailed on him a little, you want that one back. You were hoping it would sail to the sideline and, hit the cameraman or something. But unfortunately, it found the defender's hands. It's just football.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Emilio?
One of those where you spike the controller, like this game hates me kind of thing.
Right. When it happens on Madden, it's unrealistic.
Oh, dude. Right?
Never happens in real life.
But like you said, man, he was in great position, right read. He was open. Matt was happy with it, and just kind of sailed on him. Get it out now. I mean, that's fine. We got the W. That's the first thing that we're looking for. The clock ended at 00. We had a W in the column, and then let's learn from it from there. The real McCoy is right after the Bears again. So we just need to add up those days. What's it been? 2,100 days, 63, something like that since they beat us. Let's add up whatever it's going to be till the next game. Already just go ahead and put that stat out there for them just to give them a reminder for the next couple of weeks.
Carly, what do you think? You feel good about where Jordan's at based off what you've seen?
Yeah. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, and I think we're going to start seeing the Jordan that we seen in the second half of the year last year. Just based off of the last 3 games, he's graded out in the 70s on PFF. And listen, there's been mistakes in there, don't get me wrong. But if you clean up those mental mistakes, I'm telling you, I think he's going to return really, really close to form. I think he's got 16 touchdowns and 11 interceptions right now. So you've got a chance to take that 16 to the 30 mark and keep that 11 below 20. You're going, okay, sophomore slumps behind us now. Let's keep churning forward type thing, right? So this was cool too. We're always talking about deferring and all that good stuff. Rob Demoski tweeted out, so apparently the Packers weren't going to take the ball again if they won the toss because Xavier McKinney said defer before the toss. The Bears won it and they deferred. So it sounds like, I see you shaking your head, Emilio, it sounds like Matt's going to start deferring to the second half. Yeah. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I'm excited.
We talked about this, what was it, last week, and he did it starting Thanksgiving last year when he's like, oh, I think we needed some juice. I don't think we need juice right now in this offense. I think let's get our defense out there, let them eat, set the tone, and then move forward. So I'm good with that. I think that, we ran it for a year up to this Thanksgiving. All right, now let's flip it, go back the other way till next Thanksgiving and just take your pick. But I'd much rather defer 100%.
No, definitely. Anybody got anything to add to that?
No, I'm with you guys. You know where I stand on this. I'm deferring all 17 games if I win 17 coin tosses. I'm a defensive guy, man. I want to see that 3 and out, get the ball right back. That's like the coin toss never happened. We get the ball in the second half, win the middle 8, double dip. Yeah, right. That's what you want to do.
Great game plan.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I'm available. Let me know. There's some teams.
Come out in the second half and give the ball to this guy, right? You know what I'm saying?
Here's the guy.
Tim hops up on the call. Hey Matt, let's defer here.
So another point of discussion was the 4th down decision to pass up on the field goal. And here's what Matt had to say. Matt LaFleur said he checked with his analytics people this morning about his decision to go for it on 4th and goal yesterday. And they told him it was a difference of about 2 to 3% in favor of going for it. Said he wishes he'd called a different play on 3rd down, though. So completely agree about the 3rd down call. Listen, if a coach feels convicted to go for it, you got to kind of fill that out. I'm not a big fan of the analytics personally because the analytics, like Michael Lombardi talks about, I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times, Emilio, the analytics doesn't take everything into account. The analytics doesn't take into account, can you block their 3 tech? The analytics doesn't take into account, how's this game flowing? The analytics don't take into account, they're missing their starting cornerback or you're missing your starting right tackle. All that stuff doesn't even come to effect, right? So that's why when you look at how the game flowed, it's a very similar decision, in my opinion, to the Lions game when you decided to get aggressive right before halftime. That's what bit you in the ass and took you completely out of the game, right? That's what cost you the game was that play. If you kick that field goal, right, then the whole game plan changes there at the end of the game where you only need a field goal to win it, right? And I think it changes the way the Chicago Bears call their game plan as well. Now, listen, we won the game, so it's all good. But I'm still team kick the field goal. But, again, I'm a boring fan. Do you guys have any any qualms with Matt LaFleur going for it on that fourth down?
I mean, I'm a situational guy. I'm with you. I lean towards taking the points, but it gets tempting when you're down there, right? When you're well into enemy territory and knocking on the door, especially in a game when you want to get that touchdown, you want to create that separation. We talk about the third down play call. Hell, the fourth down play call wasn't great either, going for it.
Yeah.
So if you feel confident in what you're calling and what you're running out there and you're finding success, then great. But normally I do. I lean towards just take the 3 points, live to fight another series, another possession. And, turning up the aggression factor before half in a ball game when you're losing, to me is, it sets you up to make those big mistakes. And then you get even further behind the 8 ball. And before you know it, it's a boat race. I'd rather see pure aggression coming right out of the gate, kind of like we saw with the Packers yesterday. I mean, that first drive, we were rolling and we had a good tempo and good pace to us, I like that type of aggressive style as opposed to the let's hurry up and try and get back into the middle 8 conversation before the half. So,
yeah, definitely. Amelia, you got anything to add, Carly? Go ahead, Carly. You good?
Didn't so like I understand some people, like if coaches, get a field goal instead of going for it too often, it's like they're soft, they're not being aggressive, or they're calling plays scared or whatever. But didn't the Steelers beat the Ravens this week with just field goals?
Listen,
they took the points that were handed to them. Like, man, you can still win ball games that way.
I'm telling you, imagine if they hadn't taken half of those field goals, right?
Yep.
Like, again, and this is what typically separates the good coaches from the bad. Andy Reid is notorious for taking field goals, right? Mike Tomlin, notorious for taking field goals. And then you look at the teams that tend to go for it on fourth down, they're very up and down. The king of going for it on fourth down in the analytics was Brandon Staley last year for the Chargers. That dude ain't a coach anymore.
Yep,
I'm just saying, like, it happens all the time. And I think analytics, there's a place for analytics in football, don't get me wrong. But again, it's just like when we talk about DVOA and this and that, and it's like I'm not a huge fan of it because that DVOA that you talked about in week 2 doesn't mean a damn thing in week 14, right? Mm-hmm. You look up at the end of the year, and these teams are on total different trajectories, right? So keep it simple. Go off of the points per play, the yards per play. Focus on, okay, here's the teams that are hot right now. Forget who they play because we don't even know how good those teams are yet, right? That's why the strength of schedule stuff, too, I roll my eyes at it every year. I mean, we'll mention it. Don't get me wrong. I think more information is better than less, but
we thought the Cowboys were going to be nice. The Miami was going to be good. That whole division was going to be an elite. The Jets were going to be elite. All that stuff doesn't, it comes down to Sunday when the pads start, clacking.
And people will talk about it in the first half of the season, but if things change towards the negative as far as their information and it being now inaccurate in the second half of the season, you never hear them go back and go, well, remember, they had the third strongest strength of schedule in week 2. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So, again, more information is better than less, but that's why I kind of roll my eyes at that.
To that analytics point, Lombardi, that the trucking analytics people, he goes, who is even the analytics people that are coming up with these numbers? Right. And he's like, you know what? They say go for it every time. What's it even matter? He goes, every time it says go for it. I don't think I've ever seen an analytics say not go for it.
Exactly. You'll never see it. You never hear anybody go, nope. They say
it'll be like, you got a 25% chance to get this. Definitely, it's a 65% chance you should go for it. Like, what are we talking about here?
65%.
65%. That's what we. That's absolutely perfect. I'd hit you with the Dobby there. I'm just saying. All right, let's get into PFF grades. We'll wrap it up after this. I know y'all got more important things to do than to waste time on here.
Sorry, 22. If my math is correct, 2,211 days until January 5th when we are scheduled to play the Bears again. That is terrible.
I don't think I understand. Are you high right now? What happened?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
So the last time the Bears beat the Packers, well, they haven't beaten the Packers in 2,163 days. Added up the rest of the days, we got to 2,211. That would leave us just over 6 years, 6.05 years.
That is crazy.
That is terrible.
You just blew my mind. I had no clue what you were talking about. I was like,
oh, my bad. I guess I kind of just analytics was what I was talking about.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's crazy. 2,200
numbers are
days,
hard.
6 years.
Had me over here like this. I'm like, I feel like I am the dumbest person on this podcast right now. I'm not computing what he's saying. Anyway, so the Packers are grading out as the 22nd best team in the league right now to 73.1. We won't waste time going through everything other than their running grade, guys, 89.4. My God, those running backs, boys, they're making magic happen, especially with the run blocking grade of only 54.7. Now, Tim, we've talked about this. It kind of feels like there's a bit of a flaw there in PFF's run blocking. When you got the third leading rusher in the league and you're getting a run grade of 89.4 and your run blocking grade is only 54.7, I'm not saying it's not completely inaccurate, but there's something off there. There's got to be.
I agree. I mean, we know our running backs are great, but I mean, come on now. They're clearly getting some blocks. So, yeah, and we'll never know exactly what the formula is for PFF and how they come up with these things. So, yeah, you just kind of scratch your head and roll with it.
Even more so, it's kind of like what Emilio was talking about with the analytics department. Lombardi goes off on PFF all the time too, because he's like, who's evaluating the evaluator? Who's evaluating the person grading the tape? We don't even know. We're not allowed to know who's even grading the tape, right? That kind of feels like
it's like the Wizard of Oz, you know?
Yeah, I can't we can't even find them.
I tell you, that kind of feels like a water main breaking in Atlanta, Georgia in the middle of the night. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Emilio.
Anyway. I was just to say, we can't even find them on LinkedIn. Like, they won't even put PFF grade or, you know what I mean? Like, let's just
nobody wants to admit they have that job.
Give me a hashtag yourself on it. Do something. Let me know where you are.
Oh my God. What do they call that when you out somebody on social media from a sense of like, God, what's it called?
Doxing.
I heard that for the first time this year because a guy was talking like a tough guy. I'm like, oh, you meet? You want to shake hands somewhere? And he's trying to dox me. What in the hell dox me? What are we even doing here? Like, you were just telling me I was soft. What happened? Where'd all that energy go? I'm confused. But anyway, so you guys are up with the times way more than me, obviously knowing what docs means.
Clay, that's the
first time. No clue either. It makes me feel a little bit.
No, first time I've heard it. So yeah, you're good.
I feel young again. Look at that.
Me too.
I'm as keen to the streets. I love it. All right, so here's the offensive grades for the Week 11 matchup against the Chicago Bears. This does not look correct, does it? This can't be correct. Hold on a second. This might be overall grades. Let me go back here. I apologize. So if we go to bang, this is what we're looking for here. So they graded out a 64.3 overall against the Bears. And let's just jump right into the individual players since we're coming down to the gun here on time. So offensive grades, Christian Watson, 93.0 for Christian Watson on 31 snaps.
Mama, there goes that man.
That is, and again, he could not have played any better. He could not have played any better yesterday. Like, and you've seen him in the running game too. You'll see multiple times him getting inside. There's one specific play. I can't remember which run it is, but you'll see it on Chalk Talk. They actually bring him in tight. They've got Jaden Reed on the line, and they've got on the line of scrimmage, but he's snugged up almost like a tight end position, and they put Christian Watson kind of in that wing, almost like he's playing you. And he's just right in the mix run blocking, man. I mean, and it was pretty sure Brady called it a duo. I think it was a touchdown run, a 7-yard touchdown run. He called it duo. I didn't see duo, but I'll be damned if I'm going to question Tom Brady and his knowledge with the game. So I said, you got it, Tom. It's duo. We're rolling with it.
That's fun, Jacob. Good job, buddy.
Yeah. And Christian Watson was in the mix. So you love to see it, man. No doubt about it.
We've been saying that for over a year now. Yeah. Thank you.
Exactly.
I was just gonna affirm that, Tim. Thank you.
So Zach Tom, 73.8, Jordan Love, 73.7, Jaden Reed, 73.6, Josh Jacobs, 71.5. Look at that passing game grade, guys. 86.7 for Josh Jacobs.
Here's the guy.
I think he caught 2 passes for 20 yards, like 20 yards each clip, if I remember correctly. Wow. Could be wrong there. John Fitzpatrick, 71.2, only 3 snaps. Sean Ryan, 64.7. Sean Ryan, boys, he's getting better.
Yep.
I can't believe what I'm saying, but he has been steady here lately, man. Chris Brooks, only 10 snaps, but a 64.4. Rasheed Walker, 62.0. I want to point out Jordan Love real quick. This is what we were talking about. Look at the last 3 games. 73.7, 68.3, 74.6, 72.2, 72.1. I apologize. It's the last 5 games. Jordan Love is grading out pretty darn good here. His passing grade even better on each of those two, with the 79.1 against Detroit passer grade. He had a 72.1 there yesterday against Chicago. So Jordan Love really cranking it up here, man, in the second half of the season. I'm excited to see how he finishes. Anything else you guys want to see there? Any comments? Anything at all there?
Sorry, I just saw Eric Sutherland's comment.
Yeah.
I started for your viewing pleasure.
The fact that what's crazy to me is that Chris Brooks is getting those reps that Emmanuel had earlier in the year. You know what I mean? And like continuously, I think it's because of that third stat in their 74-6 pass blocking.
Yes.
And I know that Josh Jacobs has had an issue with that. I'm super excited that his grade was good. That he's been able to turn that around. I know that we were having a little bit of trouble with that. And like you said, Sean Ryan turning it up. But I just, like you were talking about earlier, and Matt was talking about in his presser, he was saying Brenton Cox showed up just by, being there and being ready, putting his head down and working. Christian Watson doesn't get all the clout and all the fame all the time, put his head down and work here. This was his game. And I think that just the whole team does that. Emmanuel Wilson got three snaps, right? And had 2 runs on it. So you just have to take advantage of when you get on the field for this team, and make the most out of it. I think that's all it's going to come down to. And once that everyone starts kind of grooving a little bit more, I think by the playoffs we're going to be on a roll.
Yeah. Anything else, Carly, Tim, you got to add to this as far as the offensive grades here?
I'm just wondering how Rasheed Walker got such a low run blocking grade.
Right.
The 47.
And you turn on the tape, you don't see him getting blown off the ball. That's what I was saying a couple weeks ago, or actually it was last week, is like maybe they don't fully understand what the Packers are trying to accomplish, because we got one of the play that made Chalk Talk is I think it was 22 slice. And if you don't know what slice is, you have no idea. Like there may be a guy blow right by Rasheed Walker, but he's letting him go because of the run design, right? And PFF may look at it and go, it's just like the touch spy on defense. A defensive lineman locks up in a double team and you see him engage but not really rush the quarterback, and you could tell he's ready to drop back and cover a rush lane. They're probably giving him a -2 on that play, and when all he did was his job, So I don't know. I'm with you, Tim. It seems a little odd, doesn't it, to have such a low run blocking grade consistently too, like it's every week.
It does, and I think it you hit it on the head. They don't, I don't think they're looking at the inner minutia of each team's game plans and their, what they're trying to achieve on both sides of the ball. Like you said, if you understand what's going on out there, but then again, that may not be the goal here. The goal may be a bird's eye view of, the game and everybody who played and snap counts and how they looked against this and that. So again, we'll never know. We'll never know what the formula is. But I tell you, the thing that sticks out to me was, we kind of touched on this last week a little bit, is Rasheed Walker was like a penalty machine earlier this year, and that has just completely been turned around. So I think you're seeing improvement across our offensive line as they've been asked to do more. Jordan Morgan going out. We had Josh Myers miss a game. Guys had to step up, and everyone held each other accountable and played relatively disciplined football. We talk about Sean Ryan playing better. We talk about, it was great to have Josh Myers back at center. He played well. And Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins as well. So, a lot of good things happening on the O-line, which is what you need. This is the time of year for that O-line to start clicking, especially now that we know, unfortunately, Jordan Morgan's out. That's it. So now the next man up mentality can take shape, and we'll find out who our rotational guys are here. But I feel real good about our O-line. I think they're shoring up that run blocking slowly but surely. We're going to be a force to be reckoned with on offense if that happens. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and it's a great point. There was only one penalty, Emilio, on the offensive line. It was Elton Jenkins, right?
That's huge. I've been harping on it, man. That is the biggest thing. That's self-inflicted wounds. I like you guys were talking about earlier. I'm totally fine with X's penalty. Honestly, crack them even harder than that. Set the tone, whatever. That's fine. But it's those false starts, 5-yarder setbacks that are killers, a dumb hold kind of thing. Absolutely brutal. I was happy. Look, you got if you just organize it by run block, it's is it Zach Tom Top or is it my boy Romeo up there?
Run block?
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs at the top. Look at
our
that.
2 top run blockers are receivers. Our 4th top run blocker is a tight end. Our 4th and 5th are tight ends, and then a running back. The only person up there that was a better run blocker, Zach Tom at 3. Crazy.
Yeah, Zach's a dog, man. He's
crazy.
Yeah. All right. Anything else offensively? We good. We move on to defense here.
Good.
I just like the fact we didn't see any red up there on offense.
Yeah. No doubt, man. No doubt about it. All right. Defensively, look at here at the top of the list. Mr.
Here's the guy.
Gary. Rashawn Gary, 79.0. Eric Wilson, 69.5. Jair Alexander, 65.9, but only 10 snaps. Eric Stokes, only 4 snaps, 65.6. Quay Walker was the big surprise. All 72 snaps, 62.6 according to PFF. That run defense grade, you've seen that all over the tape at a 51.8. But again, we talk about it every week, Tim. Him covering vertically, man, 74.2. I swear I almost want to play him at safety.
Right.
Safety, because it's just, you see that on the tape, you see it in the grades, and then of course you look at the run fit grades, and it's that's tough. Tackle grades, same 60. Pass rush, I don't know how many times he rushed the quarterback, but only had a 48.8. It's a tough go for Quay in that regard. But
it looked like they had him mugging A and B gap from time
Most
to
of the
time,
day.
and then he was just, that was the pass rush, and it was very brief and ineffective.
Yeah. And they had, for the most part, they had Edgerrin Cooper playing spy on Caleb Williams when they did play a spy. They didn't play it a whole lot. And the big thing with Coop is he allowed the center to grab a hold of his jersey a couple times. And also he took a really bad angle. You could tell he thought, I can run Caleb down. So he took kind of a cheat angle, and he got toasted both times. So obviously we'll see if we can get that buttoned up there. But Brenton Cox Jr., 58.9. Other than that, man, the defense, listen, they had kind of a down day, no doubt about it. But it was nice to see Rashawn Gary step up again. The big thing with him, he's got 2 plays on Chalk Talk. The TJ Slayton sack, he got a pressure on that where he forced Caleb right up into those big paws of TJ Slayton. And then the very next play, Gary gets a sack. And that's what put him in that 3rd and long. So you're seeing Gary, what is it, 2 weeks in a row with a sack, right? So you're seeing those numbers start to come up now. He's leading the Packers in pressures, and now he's starting to run away with it too. According to Next Gen Stats and quarterback pressures, Rashawn Gary now has 31 pressures on the year. He's got a 13.2 quarterback pressure rate. The closest person to him on the Green Bay Packers defense is Kenny Clark with 15 pressures, Kingsley Enagbare with 13, then TJ Slayton with 12. So he's doubled the defender closest to him this year in quarterback pressures. So it's absolutely awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see here. 2-0 for this. Quay seems like he's still playing for Barry. You can't blame Barry anymore, right? That's the truth there. But again, Quay, they talked about it. I think it was Tom Brady that talked about it. He's a physical freak, right? He's a specimen, But the issue is I was going to pull it up on this show. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. I don't want to be overly negative, but I do want to hit on this because Andy Herman put a tweet out. And listen, I'm not a big fan of lowlights, and that's what this is. When you just put together a reel of just bad plays for a player, because it's a little unfair, but at the same time, when you're really looking at how Quay's playing, and when we're trying to explain, hey, what's wrong with Quay Walker, this clip right here is really good. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I got it.
Wouldn't that be something like Bill Belichick would be asking for his tape guys? Like, because wasn't Mike saying like you're always talking about what he can do, what he's great at, what his skills are. What can't he do? What do we need to coach him on? What do we need to, get better at? That's, you look at this tape, that's something we can build from, build on. But there's a reason he's out there 72 snaps. You know what I mean? There's a reason he's on the field every single. He could be asked to just play it safe. I don't want you stepping up and we really don't know what Hafley's exactly asking out of him every snap. But I know this isn't going to look pretty, but
right. And to me, it's the things that should have already been corrected. Right? Yeah. That's the problem. Watch Quay. You see Quay, you're number 7, okay? And he's going to meet, I think it's in the A gap here or B gap. Look, perfect. Got to the hole, perfect, right? Just gets blown under there, right? Touchdown. Now here's Quay again. You see him right there, right? Playing stack. We're going to fast forward. Again, this is Andy Herman on Twitter that tweeted this out. Look at him to the hole, right? It's like, okay, you're reading it right. You're there. Finish. Yeah. Notice how he gets upright, though? Like he's already a tall dude, right? He doesn't have a good low center of gravity. He gets there and whoop. Like you can't have it, man. You can't do it.
That one hurt. That one wasn't pretty to look at.
Right. Now, look, I think this is the same play. Yeah. No, it's a different play. Right here, look. So you've got Caleb right dead to rights. Like, why are you even squaring up? What you should
why are
do
you not exploding through and driving your shoulder into him?
And
He's not squaring up because he just got shook on that last one. If you rewind it 5 seconds, he got spun out of his boots. That's why he squared up this time. Well, I'm happy he squared up. Problem is, I think he's stopping his feet, Clay. He's got to keep.
Absolutely.
He's got to keep moving forward.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you gotta shoot right there. Shoot outside. Go to the outside shoulder.
Bite
right?
the ball. Yeah, bite the ball.
You want to force him back inside where all those big bodies are. Instead, you square up and you miss to the inside. That's like the worst thing you can do right there, right?
And he's a righty quarterback too. It's not like he's a left-handed. Like you want to close out on his strong side.
Bingo. All right, so here we are again. Ball handed off. Look, he's going to shoot to the right. Like, how do you get washed that far out? See what I'm saying? I wish we could do it in like slow mo. As a matter of fact, we might be able to looky here, boys. Look at Twitter.
You're breaking it.
Professional Clayton.
Telling you. Look right here though. Like, you can't get that far out. What are you doing? Like, you know where your gap assignment is. And here's the thing. If you're going to make a mistake, make it big, right? As Coach D'Amato said in Any Given Sunday, I'm not going to eat your lunch for that. Like, you make a mistake, make it big. But this patty cake stuff is what gets him. Like, explode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
mean, if he did come, tighter to, was it Carl Brooks or TJ Slayton there, it would have helped him, just cut off his back hip.
Yep.
Right now, instead of going so wide, I get it.
Right.
And he waits to move. Like I know he's like kind of watched what's happened, but like he doesn't seem ready when the snap happens. He has a delay of maybe a second longer than everybody else. That is just, it seems to set him behind.
And listen, I was eating hot Cheetos earlier, sitting on my couch. All right. I don't want to pretend like I can do this. So don't take me the wrong way. But it does. It's just like right there. The cutback's coming. He gets to the spot and it's just finished. Just blast through there, man. Again, if you get shook 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, cool. You did your job. You're forcing him back to another rush lane. But to just kind of square up and that's it's just tough.
Clay, what about this? Wouldn't you rather have had Brenton Cox play Caleb, play the quarterback, and worry about your linebackers playing the running back? That's how I would have rather it been played, I think.
And you've seen this all day, Emilio. Like, there was one off the left side from the defensive perspective. They were in a read option. And what did he do? He completely crashed in and got too aggressive. He being Brenton Cox. You're right. Quay's not the only one wrong on this play right here. Like, Brenton Cox has got to be able to read that a little bit better. But at the same time, I mean,
like, I love the hit. But I really would almost, because he's been killing us on the run. I don't know the run difference of, add Caleb's yards versus the running backs, but take out Caleb. Send the DN. If you got to crash the mesh point, fine. But I'd rather you hit Caleb and be done with that. Be not having to worry about it, because like you said, it happened a couple times on those read options where he just was able to pull it, go outside, play the quarterback. I'd rather take the run up inside.
Yeah, and like right here, you got to the spot perfect. You just got to get low, man.
Keep driving.
You can't be upright. You cannot be upright. My man just drives right through his shins. Touchdown. So again, I don't want to like dunk on him too bad or harp on it too much, but you see the grades, you see it on tape, and it's what we were talking about yesterday. It's like, man, on the surface it looked bad. Although coverage, man, send that 2 or that 3 down the seam, put Quay on him, and he's locked down. There's no two ways about it. But with everything else, every other aspect of the game, it's just some people were saying, I'm trying to think of who it was. It was someone on Wildy and Tausch this morning. We're talking about get the green dot off of them and let them play more freely. That might be the answer. Maybe that'll do it. I don't know. But
I don't think it hurts to explore that option at this point.
Did you see McKinney relaying him a call during the game? He relayed Quay a call. Quay got it and then turned and was, I think, trying to get it up to the D line. But I saw that. I wasn't sure if that was start or a little nibble at it. I don't know.
I wonder if that was him on the back end seeing something, because I noticed that a couple of times that we saw Caleb Williams canning a play, and then our defense didn't do anything. We just stayed. Right. We just stayed where we were. There was no adjustment. So I'm wondering if maybe that's X on the back end seeing something and trying to get an alert or a can of our own in there so we can make an adjustment on defense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Holmes says here in the chat, Cooper fires off, see ball, destroy ball carrier. It's so true. It is, man. And again, maybe there is a little bit of that old defense that's kind of hanging in there, right? That he's still trying to get rid of for sure. So let's see here. John in the chat said Williams rushed nine carries for 70 yards.
Yeah, that's brutal. After the first scramble, we got to contain the DNs. After the second one, all right, any read options, you need to blow up Caleb. I want you to just take his head off. You know what I mean?
Make them hand off. Make them hand off.
Put your helmet in his sternum and tackle him to the ground. Because at that point he's a runner. He's not. That's more of a free hit on a quarterback than when he's going to pass the ball. Right? If Caleb's there going to hand the ball off, I mean, dude's technically a running back right now. We need to bring the thumb.
Definitely. 2-0 for this says if Mike Tyson can still box at 58, then Mark Murphy can still play safety at 70.
I love it.
Well, that was a rough one to watch the other night, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Eric Sutherland said in Kentucky they call it cow bite. In Kentucky they also call sisters girlfriends. So a little bit of truth to that. I've witnessed that. Eric Sutherland says the Bears said you think PTA sucks. Hold our Bud Light with a straw and watch this. Oh man!
Oh,
anything else y'all got? We're way over. We were just going to do 45 minutes. Obviously, we're at 1:10, so we
might as well push it and get us to split it. I'm kidding.
I got one more.
Yeah,
I got one more thing. I read. I don't remember the exact number, but with Carl Brooks blocking that field goal to win the game, that hadn't happened. A game-winning field goal block hadn't happened in 85 years for the Packers.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's crazy.
That is wild because what I heard on Wes and Todd's was I'm pretty sure they said that it's been 25 years since there was a blocked field goal kick, and it was the Bears having done it to the Packers for a win.
Wow.
25 years ago. And then let me just hit you with this stat. Packers are now 51-15 against the Bears since 1992.
Gotta love it.
51-15 since 1992.
That's the stat I pulled off the internet. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but I'll take it. The second stat below that is
it's on the internet. It's real.
Oh, definitely it's real. With 11 straight wins, now the longest win streak against any team in the history of the NFL.
That's awesome. Thank you, Carl Brooks.
Yes.
Yeah,
I got the floor. Matt said that immediately, Tim. That was what he did. He took the headset off and ran to find him. Thank you for giving me that W.
You know what else they said about Carl Brooks?
He can block.
He said that on Will to Your House today. They said, I'm so sick of Matt LaFleur's play calling. This guy was real emotional. It was hilarious. He said, why don't they stop playing games, put a defensive tackle at fullback, and just let Josh Jacobs run the ball? I was like, oh, my God. This guy is terrible. He is in the ganja tonight. Let me tell you, my man is in the wacky backer. I
wouldn't be fine with a little full house package, though.
Listen, it's okay to do it if it works. If it don't, we're going to complain about it. That's how that goes, right?
Well, worth a shot. I mean, if Matt, I would love to see Matt's, we need a 1-yard run play. Besides the craft squeeze or the craft cheese, whatever we decided.
Squeeze, get it right.
Yeah. And Jordan's great call on the can QB sneak. But, I think we need a heavy package. I'm cool with that.
We could call it the forklift play or something like that. We come up with something real nice. Forklift certified.
Yeah, Tucker's running the ball. It could be a reverse to Josh Jacobs on a little trap play, something crazy.
I want to see Rashawn Gary playing flyer, man. Get him on some of that yo-yo, little zipper motion. Let's go, man. You kidding me? Turn it loose.
Track toss. Well, how come we don't do that anymore? Like when we're in shotgun, you know how Rodgers used to run the quick pitch, like sidecar right, quick pitch right.
Do you like
that? I feel like we've gotten away from that 100%.
I'm glad we did because I was that fan cussing every time. Every time I'm like, Mike, it doesn't work, Mike. Stop, just stop. You're the only person in the stadium that's convinced this is going somewhere.
Oh, you never know.
It's almost like you could see the. I don't know if you ever seen the clip of the hind catcher for, I think it was the Phillies or maybe the Reds. He walks up to the mound and he's talking to the coach, and they say, who you bringing in, and he sees him coming out of there, and this dude looks a little overweight. I ain't gonna lie, he was 112% Caucasian. He's full sprint to the pitcher's mound. The catcher goes. They catch it on camera. It was awesome. He's like, really bringing this guy in right now. I feel like that's what the players did when Mike called that play.
Yeah.
Aaron probably rolled his eyes like, I'm sorry, guys, we got to run it. He said to run
That
it.
might have been one of the reasons why, as much as we tried to
why
let
Matt
him,
has just burned that play from the playbook.
we tried to let him finish that season out, and then we had to. That might have done it, right? We had to kick him loose with a couple of games left.
Should have. All right. Anything else? We good?
Yeah, there was one other point I wanted to make before we get out of here.
The Bears still suck.
I agree. All right. That's it. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow for PTA Live, 7 p.m. Central. It's going to be Chalk Talk Tuesday. Excited about breaking down. We got 15 plays from the Bears game. A couple of them are for the Bears, and that's those scrambles. I just want to show what went wrong on the scramble plays. And like I said, I'm almost positive they were both man coverage. At least one of them were man coverage, but I think they were both man coverage. So we'll hit on all that. We got the good plays too, man. There's some dandies in there. I tell you, there's one play in particular with Josh Jacobs, and I got a special cut up of it, of him. I don't know if you boys seen it or not, but he caught that swing pass and looks at Jalen Johnson and goes, Come on. Look, I want you right here for just a second. He lowers his shoulder, puts him right on his face, and then just steps out of bed. It was absolutely awesome. Hearing Tom Brady acknowledge it was the coolest because he was like,
sets the tone. Sets the tone. I love it.
No doubt about
it. The DBs don't want to tackle that all game.
Yeah. Yep. And again, to have the confidence to get outside and just call a cat out is just awesome, man. So anyway, that's it. This show sucks. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. We're still looking for who is it? Let me find the name here. I apologize. I'm so unprofessional. Mandy's right. This desk is a mess.
Who?
That's exactly right. We're looking for Justin Connor. Justin Connor, you won the autographed Romeo Dobbs card. If we don't hear from him by Friday, we'll set the deadline for Friday. Then we're going to give it to Jabin Tebow, who already reached out.
Heard it from a fan right here.
Justin Connor, come forward and get your prize, sir. We appreciate you supporting the show. Help me out here, Tim.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Go Pack, go.
Edit D's. How about that?